Texas, GNC, the Grand National Championship of Motocross Racing presents the 15th Annual Good Time National, where competitors from all over the nation will vie for thousands of dollars in trophies and contingencies. Fast and furious motocross action is coming up. Good morning and welcome to the 15th Annual GNC Good Time Nationals. Lynn Nickerson here with you along with David Littler, and we have got some outstanding race action here for you this weekend. We've got riders here from well over 17 states going for $12,000 in trophies and contingencies. And to tell us a little bit about this demanding racetrack, my good friend David Littler.
Lynn, thank you very much. Our Lake Whitney Cycle Ranch is a 1.2-mile course which consists of several man-made and natural terrain obstacles. The soils conditions here vary all the way around the track as we have hard pack and soft terrain conditions, which makes it rather difficult for many riders as they articulate themselves around the course. And speaking of today's events, let's go now trackside to today's race actions.
And the first race today, David, is going to be the Teeny Mini Modifieds. These are our future pros, 4 to 8-year-old riders coming up. And look at this little guy coming around the corner, feet out, and the bike is sliding sideways. Number 150, Chad Cook, here in the Pee Wee Modified action. Chad Cook chasing the number 11 machine that is driven by Chase Reed, and he is out there on the gas.
Lynn, these little Pee Wee bikes are heavily modified 50cc motorcycles. They have had their suspension increased as well as usually piston displacement, giving them just a little bit of extra oomph needed to be a little bit better than your competition.
Down the back straightaway here at the Lake Whitney Cycle Ranch, number 11, Chase Reed on the pegs. Look at him gas it, David.
Well, I'll tell you what, these guys are flat looking like the big guys, such as Jeff Stanton and Jeff Ward of the Supercross series, which some people may have seen on the ESPN.
As we watch him come into the picture, number 80, Dusty Carpenter's moved into the number 1 spot in front of Chase Reed as they come into what looks like the land of the parents. We've got moms, we've got dads, we've got grandmoms out there. They are all getting excited about these youngsters.
And that is the rocker section. And if you'll watch real close next time through, you will notice that these motorcycles almost disappear. So the camera's really not giving us a full view of just how choppy and rough this track conditions are.
Number 27 in your picture, that is our friend Tanner Moore. Tanner Moore on the gas here. This little guy's been racing less than a year. He is 7 years old. One of the cutest little kids on the racetrack, David.
Tanner's sporting the latest in apparel as he's got the purple Motocross Fox shoulder pads on. Again, our kids are dressed in all the safety precautions we can provide them because we do basically dress for the crash. And speaking of crashes, this is Dusty Carpenter going down. Dusty riding himself back up, getting himself rolling again.
He's on another modified Yamaha Weisling who lives in Lubbock, Texas. He goes down the rocket hill straight away. If you watch this little rear wheel, man, it really starts to bounce like crazy all over the place out there.
These guys have learned, though, through their many hours of riding around the cycle ranch that keeping the gas on is probably the best case scenario for them.
One of the fastest parts of the racetrack now, these little kids are in top gear, running about 30 miles an hour, David.
And here's a little unfortunate. This is just a stock motorcycle here. Notice the suspension is fairly stable. It's only got about 4 or 5 inches, if that. And now here's a modified version of one. You got the extended swing arm, motorcycle swapping sideways. Looks like he's got probably 4 additional inches versus the stock machine.
Chase Reed on the gas coming out of that left-handed sweeper, David. This kid is hauling the mail today. He jumped out in front with a hole shot, but he's kind of had a little up and down luck as he blasts out of the sweeper.
He has perfectly body positioning, as we saw in the background. Some legs running. That will be the moms. We have moms and dads running trackside, front to back, as they get their little ones around.
Sean Cook, number 286, coming to the finish line sweeper with just a couple more laps to go, David. This little guy's only 6 years old.
We are looking at Alan Bell Jr., a 4-year-old, in his first ever motorcycle event race, and that is his dad running back there with the trying to obtain the suntan as Alan Bell Jr. is working through these rocker sections. And look how these motorcycles, Lynn, just flat get swallowed up here. Tanner Moore taking the far left side.
That's right, and little Alan taking it safe and smooth on the right side of the racetrack, but it's still kind of tough for him. The sand plays heck with these little 5-inch tires, and poor old Dad's looking for the Gatorade bottle now. He's just about run short of oxygen, and he still has 1 or 2 more laps to go.
Indeed, Lynn. The white flag has been displayed for our leader. That is going to be Chad Cook as we look for Chad to come around our track. And here is just your basic stock Pee Wee machine. This is a Pee Wee 50.
You know, this kid here has probably got the best form of any of them out there, David. He's up when he's supposed to do. He's down when he's up to. But I tell you what, look how he's going through the toughest part of the racetrack because the little 50s, when they come through that section, they drag the foot pegs.
Lynn, that's a very deep groove right there. We're going to see that groove will get deeper as the little bikes come around. And this is number 68 of Toby Troberman. As Toby's getting through one of those grooves, and Toby goes down. Toby's having a little hard luck here.
He picks it up. He's going, all right, Dad, lighten up now. I'm doing my best. I'm not giving up.
And there's one of our mini safety flagmen, which we have placed strategically around the track to assist any downed rider.
And every rider must have a safety-approved helmet, shoulder pads, pants, boot, and jersey. This kid's got it all.
For sure, Lynn. You do have to dress for a crash in this little teeny mini races as well as the big bikes. And speaking of moms, here's the mother of little Alan Bell Jr., the 40-year-old.
You know, we saw his dad on one side of the track. Mom's got west side duty today.
And that would probably be the hottest side here at the Lake Whitney Cycle Ranch. This is our leader right here, 150, Chad Cook. Chad working the right hand.
Boy, he is motoring out there, David. You can see him. He's leaning to the left and gassing it to the right. This kid knows all the right moves.
This is the back sweeper coming into Chuck Sun Hill. He's going to make a left, another left, and then drop away from us.
And immediately he comes towards us at this particular moment. This kid is hauling the mail. Checkered flag lap for number 150 from Midwest City, Oklahoma's Chad Cook.
Working his way through the rockers. Chad Cook has got the little Pee-wees dialed in this Pee-wee modified event.
As he goes past still more parents waiting and watching for their particular little kid, you can see his dad. He is already celebrating as this youngster heads towards what looks like Bill Fleming's checkered flag.
Excellent ride by Chad Cook as he takes the overall honors as we look for Dusty Carpenter to take the second spot in this teeny-meeny modified event.
And we'll be right back with more fantastic motocross action at the 15th Annual GNC Good Time Nationals after this. And the support through attendance and guidance during events as well as throughout the week. 15-year-old Robbie Raynard, a 10-year motocross veteran, told us how important family support is.
My parents really push me to ride a lot and stuff. My dad takes me out riding and stuff. My sister really likes it going off the track, so it works out really good.
Another close-knit motocross family is that of 12-time national winner Clint Latham. We asked his mother, Darla Latham, would she support him if Clint decided to pursue another type of sport?
Oh, definitely. Anything that they want to do, we'd definitely support him or either one of our boys.
And with this being a family sport, how much of an important role does the support of your parents play in your success on the racetrack?
A lot. If it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't even be here today. They helped me get through most of the 8 years of my riding career.
Dan Latham, you usually in the shadows working on the motorcycles guy. How important is your job to Clint's performance on the racetrack?
It's just as important as Clint's is. Just like I said, it's a family sport, and we'd rather be doing this than other things.
Clint, your 8-year-old brother Blake has expressed an interest in motocross racing. What kind of role will you play in his success?
I'm going to try to help him out as much as possible, maybe give him some riding tips, and hopefully maybe he'll follow in my footsteps.
Hundreds of parents travel thousands of miles a year so that a member of their family can participate in sanctioned motocross events. Two such individuals are Joe and Cookie Moore, parents of 4-time amateur national champion Joey Moore. If you had a choice of going to Las Vegas or coming to the motocross races, which one would it be?
I wouldn't take $1 million for the time I have with him in motocross.
Cookie?
Only with him.
Why would you guys say that?
Because we feel like you should be with your family. Being with your children's the most important thing. That's what develops them into stronger and better grown-ups to lead this world.
Joey, I know you've been racing for several years. How important is your family in your success?
They're real important. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm at. They keep me real motivated and kind of take care of all the bills and everything. So it's great, and I would love to have them here with us.
Besides family support, a rider also needs to have a desire to win. We're with Charlie Bogart, GNC 80cc class champion. Charlie, how important is winning to you?
I think winning is just the whole part of it. You have to have fun while you're doing it. But when you win, it makes it more fun, and it just helps on the sponsors, and you get more, and that makes you feel better. It's just a fun thing to do.
And we've got his father here with us, who happens to be a big supporter, as we might add. How important is parental support, Big Charlie?
It's everything. You didn't have to, the parent has to be involved, the mom and the daddy both, or it wouldn't work. It takes 150% of your time and 150% of your money.
If you want to be a racer, ladies and gentlemen, take the advice from these two guys. You got to be dedicated, and you got to have the 100% support. Charlie Bogart, Jr. and Sr., telling it like it is from the GNC Good Time Nationals. Back to action.
Thank you, Lynn. While we're waiting for the 125 expert race to start, here's a look at what happened earlier today in the 250 expert event. 250 Expert event was an all Terry Tinney runaway, Lynn, as we noticed that bike number 3 lined up behind the backward falling starting gate.
That's right, buddy. If you try to jump the start on one of these, you'll be the only one sitting there, and the rest of the class will be halfway to Dallas by the time you finally get away.
The pack leads off, and Terry Tinney, he leads this thing literally flag to flag as Terry pulls the whole shot as he gets onto the long start straight here at Lake Whitney Cycle Ranch.
Man, we had a full field of riders here during that race, and also you might let everybody know, Dave, that some of these same folks you'll see in the 125 class later.
As well, Lynn, and we also probably ought to comment that these races that we're seeing is a combined first moto and second moto scoring, and all we're able to show you here in the time frame is just one moto highlights.
That's right. We use the Olympic score system, 1 for first, 2 for second, etc. And the rider with low overall points is the way we decide who wins it.
Well, this is Terry Tinney leading this 250 Expert event, and we can also say something that when you attain this level of performance out racing motorcycles, sponsorship plays a big role.
Boy, let me tell you, just from discounts on parts to maybe a little help along the way to get to a race from one race to another sure makes a big difference in whether these guys get a chance to go anywhere.
Lynn, similar to car racing, split seconds count in this level of performance.
That's right. They've got their mechanics on the sideline with pit boards giving them the differentials between first and second place.
It's Terry Tinney having no problem out front.
Boy, he is motoring. As this race happened earlier this morning, he is looking really good in the early morning sunshine here at Lake Whitney.
I believe Dennis Hawthorne has already put himself into second place, displacing the old ex-jet skier Carol Richardson back to the third spot.
Boy, let me tell you, Carol has really been a success story in this, and I think he's come back with new vigorance. He's just riding a lot better than he was 4 years ago.
Terry Tinney again popping up out of Chuck Sun Hill, and the story behind that Chuck Sun Hill is that the ex-factory Honda motocrosser jumped up out of there with such height that he actually ran into a tree limb.
That's right, he broke his leg there some years ago.
These guys are riding 250cc displacement motorcycles, which is double the premier event of the 125cc's, Lynn.
That's right, and they weigh about 15 pounds more, but I think if the guys have the choice, they still like those 125s a little bit more because they can throw them around.
Throw them around, and the fatigue factor's not as high. These 250s are really quite powerful, and they will wear you down real quick.
We just saw Billy Whitley go by. There's Jason Crimpin and also Caleb Young. This is a battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th. And that young man on 273 is Brian Deegan, along with the rest of this very talented field today.
Terry Tinney going over what we call a tabletop, Lynn, and what that is when you go up one side of the jump, it's flat across the top, and then slopes down on the other, and you try to make that all in a single leap, leaving the table, quote, clean.
Exactly, he did that as he just cleaned off the 2 M&M jumps. Those are our next 2 obstacles on this. Basically, it's a man-made racetrack, but there are a lot of natural terrain changes in it, too.
Good soils that we have here in Texas provides for some excellent race action.
Man, there's people all over the country that would kill for this dirt.
You know, I've rode out in California, and when I came back to Texas and rode here, specifically at the Cycle Ranch, I felt like, hey, I could not be beaten.
Terry Tinney's thinking that way today. He has still been running solo here in this 250 Pro race.
Terry Tinney with a fairly commanding lead in front of Dennis Hawthorne, which we just saw back there in the background.
All right, he is on the right side of your screen now, on the left on his side. He likes this next combination of turns here.
And then it is Terry Tinney taking the checkered flag right here at the finish line.
All right, so Terry Tinney gets the win here.
Dennis Hawthorne should be coming along just momentarily. And there is our second place finisher, Dennis Hawthorne.
Thank you very much, everybody, as we are in the winner's circle over here with Terry Tinney. Congratulations, buddy, on a good race as you and Dennis Hawthorne basically ran off and hit from everybody. How'd you do that?
Just been working a lot, working with my mechanic a lot. Of course, all my sponsors. I'm real healthy right now, and I just had the will to win. I know I'm going to ride a couple more years, and I just want to win everything I can between now and then. And like I say, I couldn't do it without my mechanic and sponsor, Dave and Bobby Jones. Without them, I wouldn't be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Carol Richardson in the winner's circle today. Carol Richardson, of course, just getting back off the jet skis on the motocross. And Carol, this is without a doubt, buddy, your best finish. 3rd place against the best riders here in the Lone Star State.
Yeah, I've been working a little bit, not as much as I should, because you can tell out there I got a little winded, you know, towards the end of the moto, but I feel I have the speed they have, just not the endurance.
What's the difference between jet ski racing and motocross as far as the physical demanding part?
Well, they're both pretty demanding on your respiratory system. You really peak out quick on a jet ski and you do the motorcycle. You're always looking for new things to do on a jet ski, and there's not that many, and you can keep on motorcycles.
Well, that's great, Carol. We want to say the best of luck to you, buddy, and if you have those sponsors, that'd be a great chance to thank them.
I'd like to thank my mechanic today, Glenn Havert, and my wife, Gina Richardson, and my father-in-law and mother-in-law, Linda and Nolan Slagle. and that's it.
Well, buddy, we're glad to have you over in the winner's circle. Keep up the good work. Carol Richardson, give him a hand, everybody. Don't go away. The 125 expert is coming up right after this. Alexander, head of amateur racing.
Thank you very much, Lynn. On behalf of American Suzuki, I'd like to congratulate Clint Latham for winning the 125 intermediate class. Clint?
Thanks a lot, Pat.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. And now back to more GNC motocross action.
Exciting race action begins at the start of this 125cc expert event.
Man, those guys are on the gas. Look who got the whole shot. Billy Whitley from Bluffton, Texas, out in front on that number 171 125 Honda.
Lynn, that's 3 or 4 bike lengths easy on the Kawasaki of Dennis Hawthorne working the inside of the sweeper.
Boy, we've got a talented field of 125 expert riders, 3 and 4 abreast around the sweeper.
Look at him go over the step-up jump, Lynn, sideways through the air.
Boy, these guys are just simply unbelievable. They deserve the title expert.
Billy Whitley leading this opening lap of the 125 experts.
Boy, you can see the sun just beaming right down and sparkling on that motorcycle around this super track today. Dennis Hawthorne behind him getting all the way sideways, David.
Lynn, you mentioned the heat. That is going to be a significant player in the success of these riders today, as stamina is very important in racing motorcycles.
And Billy Whitley and both Dennis Hawthorne lift weights during the week. They run, they ride bicycles. Look how far he's flying out there.
Not a problem for the Bull. That is Billy the Bull Whitley.
Second place rider, the doctor, Dennis Hawthorne. He'll be coming into the picture momentarily here. He's only a couple seconds away from Billy Whitley's rear wheel.
Well, Lynn, tell me, how do we acquire these nicknames for these guys?
Well, a lot of these guys do things over the year at a different race or a different event that they deserve a nickname. The Bull, of course, came from Billy Whitley when he went down to Mexico several years ago, and Dennis Hawthorne became the doctor because he picks his lines with the precision of a brain surgeon.
Billy Whitley leading Dennis Hawthorne through the S's here at the Cycle Ranch.
Those are the top two, David. Third and fourth place, a close battle between Travis Hodges and the number 3 Honda, Terry Tenney.
Well, I look for Terry Tenney to push the red steed towards the front of the pack, Lynn.
Boy, we will see as they drop off the tabletop over near the starting line. The top 2 riders still remaining the same, Whitley and Hawthorne. Then that's Hodges and Tenney hanging right in the top 4.
And it is still Billy Whitley working the M&Ms out here at the Lake Whitney Cycle Ranch. We got a sweeper coming to the left, and watch the hookup of this rear tire.
Man, that is a good berm shot by both of those guys. Dennis literally took the top right off that berm.
Here you see 2 different line selections, Lynn. We got one working high outside line and Dennis going low.
You know, it's amazing. Both of them can still almost meet if they go over that fall-away jump in the infield.
Dennis is starting to apply the pressure as we saw them going over the back as well as coming into our turns. Dennis really applying the heat now.
Look at that, man. He's starting to show him his front wheel and the front fender, just enough to let him know that he's got the pressure all over him.
Well, Lynn, that's what you got to do when you're out racing motorcycles, is and we did see a little peek over the shoulder. You got to let him know that you're back there.
Billy Whitley anticipated Hawthorne to go on the inside, but he outfoxed him, came up on the outside, and David, he's going to pass him.
Well, Lynn, that's the doctor, always thinking ahead. Dennis is working outside to in, outside to in.
Man, I cannot believe this battle is already so heated, and it's only just early, very, very early in the race, maybe 2 or 3 laps.
Well, Dennis knows that he's got heat coming from the rear as we see Dennis go around the outside, Lynn, unusual.
Boy, that's a great pass, too, in the very tough part of the racetrack. That's the hardest and slickest part of this track, and he went outside to pass Billy Whitley.
Here they come up out of Chuck Sun Hill, Lynn, where they're actually getting airborne before they actually reach the very top.
And when they get to the top, they're flying 30 feet in the air, almost halfway to the corner.
Here they are both working the extreme edges of the track. Dennis choosing the far left side.
Boy, that seems like his favorite. He's passed more people in that section probably than any other part of this racetrack.
It's the Bull Whitley in second, Dr. Hawthorne up front.
The third place rider continues to be the 357 Suzuki of Hodges and Tenney, battling it out for fourth.
Look at Dennis just pull up on the handlebars, Lynn. He is flat working that 125.
Yeah, pushing it to the limit, my man. He is out there and on the gas today.
And speaking of 125 motorcycles, Lynn, let's talk a little about these. These are 125cc displacement motorcycles featuring the latest technological equipment on these.
That's right, that liquid-cooled 2-stroke, 6-speed, high-horsepower screamers.
Then we're coming up to one of the step-ups on the track where we can see some sideways action occur.
Boy, they do like to throw caution to the wind coming around this particular part of the racetrack. As you can see, this is a beautiful 100-acre facility, David, with camping, riding, just about anything you want, and probably the best racing in the Southwest.
For sure, Lynn, as well as you can have some jet skiing down on the Brazos River. This is just located downstream from the Lake Whitney Dam.
We're looking at the same part of the racetrack that Billy Whitley saw his lead diminish as Hawthorne is now pulled out about 2 seconds.
Well, Billy's keeping him honest. He could be just waiting back there in the wings, waiting for Dennis to falter and or tire.
That's right. We are all capable of making mistakes sometime. Number 47, Dennis Hawthorne, still is the man with a plan.
Billy Whitley, he needs to keep Dennis in sight, though. Dennis is unrelenting, as Dennis is probably the strongest rider out there today.
Not only is this guy strong, he's probably one of the smartest riders out there. He knows exactly when he needs to push it, because I've seen him in races when he has to go out and really try hard, and other ones he doesn't.
Lynn, it is important to keep the rider in front of you in sight, because if he will get away from you, you have a tendency to start backing off the throttle somewhat.
And this is not the part of the racetrack to do that at all. As you can see, the bike's bouncing around like a yo-yo out there.
Dennis Hawthorne having no trouble coming through the rocker section and into the S's. It is Dennis Hawthorne leading.
Boy, he is starting to pull away from Billy Whitley already. He's already opened up about 5 seconds on him, David.
Billy Whitley ahead of our third-place rider, which appears to be Terry Tenney.
That's right. He's moved up past Travis Hodges already, and Jason Upshaw trying to make a climb. In fact, he's moved past Hodges into 4th.
That is your top 5.
As they go into the infield section of the racetrack, Dennis Hawthorne's still the clear-cut man to beat today. This guy is turning into a machine out there. He is so consistent. That's amazing.
Watch him work this inside sweeper. He's been doing this all day here, standing up, going all the way around it.
Off the fast part of the racetrack, those guys are 4th and 5th gear wide open through that section.
We've got a couple of other, I believe, 4th and 5th place riders coming along.
That was Upshaw again as he continues to move right on up into the pack today. Upshaw is one of those guys that's been a natural at it, but he's been off the racetrack for, I guess, about 7 months now, and he's trying to get that conditioning back.
It's Dennis Hawthorne going on the very far side of the track away from our sight.
And that is, again, probably the fastest way through that section, to stand to the extreme right-hand side of the racetrack.
Dennis having no problem with this section as we should be nearing the 3/4 mark through the moto.
This is the one part of the racetrack, David, that we didn't talk about before, but it's probably the part of the racetrack when you have to have a dark lens in your goggle, because right there, you're looking right into that western sky.
Just due west it is, Lynn. Dennis Hawthorne working into Chuck Sun Hill here, where he comes flying up, and again, airborne before he gets out of it, sailing out about 30 feet.
Boy, that is a long, long way. It's just like going up an elevator and then stepping out on the top floor and going right off the edge.
Dennis about 3 seconds in front of the bull, Billy Whitley.
Through the rocker section, the number 47 Kawasaki. You know, Dennis is an AMA national rider. And look at this, we've got the white flag coming up.
White flag is out. If anything's going to happen, Billy Whitley needs to do it now, needs to get on the throttle.
That's right. At the same time, Dennis Hawthorne cannot afford to make a mistake at this point either.
It is Dennis Hawthorne, your number 1 man, Billy Whitley in 2nd, and Terry Tenney in 3rd, all about equally spaced, Lynn.
You know, the last lap is the longest one of the racetrack. That's the way I always used to feel about it.
Lynn, when that white flag is displayed, you usually take a big breath and realize, wow, 1 more lap to go. I've got to stay up front.
You know, and at the same time, Billy Whitley's thinking just the opposite. He's hoping, man, I hope Hawthorne decides to make a mistake now.
So long as Hawthorne keeps it going the way he has, well, I don't think that will occur.
You know something else, too, about the racetrack? All you spectators at home, I hope you've noticed there's no dust on this racetrack. It is prepared to the max.
Meticulously prepared. We do keep some water on it, so we keep some moisture in the soil, keeps the dust down to a bare minimum.
Last lap of the 125 Pro here at Lake Whitney Cycle Ranch today. National number 47, Dennis Hawthorne.
It is Dennis Hawthorne coming around, making a right-hander, working again the far section of the track away from us as we're looking for our 2nd place rider. And there he is. That's Billy Whitley.
That's right. The bull is the number 2 rider. It looks like the bull might be taking it easy here on the last lap. What do you think?
Well, the bull, I'm sure he's probably realized he's not going to be able to reel in Dennis, as he's got about 3 seconds on him.
Looks like the only person that Billy Whitley's got close to him is actually his shadow out there, David.
Correct you are, Lynn. He is on the far side of the track, working back. Terry Tenney is about 3 seconds behind Billy.
All right, they're coming into that right-handed sweeper before things go blind. And look at this. We caught the bull looking around. We're going to have to tell him about that.
The fatigue factor has come up, obviously. Standing up and just backing off the throttle a little bit.
That's right. A big no-no. Never look behind you. You always should look ahead.
For sure. Dennis Hawthorne should be about coming up out of Chuck Sun Hill as we have Billy going into it. And there is Dennis. Dennis Hawthorne coming into the rockers for one final time today.
Boy, this is it here in the 125 Pro, the big event, the featured race at any event, especially at the 15th Annual GNC Good Time National. It's been a great race.
For sure, Lynn. Checkered flag should be displayed this time out for your winner of the 125 Expert event. That is Dennis Hawthorne.
How about this Mr. Excitement on the finish line? Bill Fleming waving that flag for all it's worth.
In 2nd place, this is Billy the Bull Whitley.
Coming across in the number 2 spot. What about number 3, David?
That is our man from Dallas. That's Terry Tenney.
And that's going to wrap up this 125 Pro race.
Well, Lynn, I did enjoy today's racing activities held here at the Lake Whitney Cycle Ranch, where we saw Billy the Bull Whitley take the overall honors in the 125cc Expert class.
In the teeny-mini Future Pro class with the 50cc riders today, Chad Cook and Dusty Carpenter, who are really coming along at a high rate of speed, are going to be super pros here in the next 4 to 5 years, so watch for those guys. But, folks, if you enjoyed that, make sure to let us know here at GNC Sports that you enjoyed it. So for all those people that have been a part of this one, for my good friend David Slitler, and for myself, Lynn Nickerson, we want to thank you for watching. And remember, when you think motocross, think GNC Motocross, and we'll see you at the races.